All right, so good to have you back. It's still the Good Morning Cross River Wednesday edition. And remember, we said we'll have two talking points this morning. We'll take a look at the agricultural sector. Of course, we're showing you a few insights there on what this administration has done in terms of agriculture. And also, we'll take you through the state of insecurity in the nation. Now, to put it in the right perspective, sometime in 2014, when the current All Progressives Congress leadership at the center went around campaigning, there had three major focus they told Nigerians. One was to fix the economy, two, to tackle corruption, and the main one was the issue of handling insecurity issues in Nigeria. 7 years and more months on, it's more deplorable than what we had way back in 2014. And on that note, I have joining me a criminologist and a senior lecturer from the Department of Criminology, University of Calabar, Dr. Theophilus Ayuk, as we take a look at this issue of state of security in the nation. Good morning, Doctor. So good to have you join us.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, President.
Doctor, let's quickly, like in my opening, I made mention of the three focal areas that this administration at the center tried to tackle: economy, corruption, and security. What would be your assessment as a criminologist in the last 7 years of this administration in terms of security?
Good morning. Yeah. Well, it's a tight one, but we have to talk. Someone said, let me paraphrase, he said, the society gets bad when people of goodwill refuse to talk. And this government, perhaps they had a plan mapped out to address the issues of insecurity, not only insecurity, as you rightly adduced, economic insecurity and economy. And they came, what they saw on ground, they felt it's just something that just can wish you away, but it's not like that. Issues of security are so deep. So they did not put their acts together. Perhaps they just came in to ride on the security issues as it were with the previous government, and they felt they could do it, just like the magic one. But they came, for me, they have done so poorly security-wise, terribly so, to the extent that even the government recently have admitted that they have failed. And you need to leave space to tell me otherwise, that Nigeria is secure. Nigeria is not secure. Nigerians are they are not protected. Nigeria, danger stares at them. It is this bad that at now, security-wise, Nigeria is in confusion. They have not done anything right. Their plans are not working. People distrust this government. Hardly so, and rightly so, informed by the way or their security plan to address security. Granted, no government would treat security issue holistically. Better said, they observe the seeming inadequacy in security, and that is why they came and told us, and people went and bought it. And they are making excuses. Why would you make excuses? Because I've been issued, there was a problem security-wise, and you said you're coming in. And thank God they are not blaming the past government again. I may be a PDP apologist, but I'm not somebody in politics, and I'm pretty objective on this question when I'm addressing issues. Because security, when somebody is killed, they are not killing APC or PDP, whether they rich or the poor. Now every person is suffering it. So why would I call? My concern is Nigeria. All of us who leave Nigeria will continue to be. What are we doing to bequeath? What legacy are we trying to bequeath to the generation unborn to come? Do we want to have a country? We don't want to have a country. This is the right thing. Whether you like it or not, we must fix Nigeria. I don't care who is in the saddle. I care about what Nigeria is, what Nigeria should be. We have succeeded to make Nigeria the way it is because we Nigerians have refused to plan to see Nigeria work, except you and I and those who are concerned take it as serious as it were. Give it the urgency in it, because the situation is terrible now and is gradually dovetailing into a conundrum. If care is not taken, we will not have a country known as Nigeria again.
Well, we just really hope that that will not come to pass. Let's look at this. As a criminologist, for 7 years and now, so much money has been pumped in, year in, year out, to fight terrorism. Let's look at this. Where should we lay the blame? Is it that there's security sector, they don't have the required equipment? Already we had the other time Tucano jets brought in here and there. Is it that, where can we really, pin it on? Do we have to pin it on the service chiefs? Do we have to pin it on sabotage within the army? Or do we say there's not enough resources to fight terrorism?
As long as I'm concerned, the buck stop at the table. I can't be the head of an establishment or my organization and condone ineptitude. If you fail in your duty, one, the president is to be blamed. Why do I say so? All these persons you've mentioned, the service chiefs, the ministers, and the rest, did not, as it were, contest the election to be, I want to be Mr. President. The enormity of Nigerian problem, yes, you saw them, you were seated, and you ran a campaign on this, and people gave, their mandate to you. And it is obvious, sovereignty belongs to the people, and the duty of government paramountly is what? Security and welfare of the citizen. Have you? Okay, granted, say money. There is no issue concerning money, because I've heard severally from persons who are in government, especially the legislature, that have made approval, and you are seeing among us, approvals. What is it with this money? There is no monitoring and evaluation. You can't expect that, and we have been told, and in good authority, then I wouldn't make open. It's a public forum. Some military officers who incidentally are my supervisee and my student, they will tell you Nigeria is using antiquated weaponry as against the terrorists. How can you have a ragtag military or was a bandit coming after you with, most times it's laughable, but it must be spoken with there are no kits, they are not wearing shoes. Coming like that, you see Nigerian army man or the Nigerian soldiers who are well trained and be running away from them, dropping their. It is unheard of. So there is a lot of, we know there are so many questions they are begging for answers. You're telling me you've almost 1.4 trillion. You've acquired the Tucano. We heard when this Tucano will come, the problem of insecurity is finished. Have they even used it one day? Why is it not used? Why is it we got it to be as a monument? I don't even understand. Deploy this. And you're telling me all the jets we have. No. Something must be done. Whoever has reneged in his responsibility should be fired. Because if, for instance, there is no punishment or punitive measure for ineffectiveness and jettisoning of responsibility, you are rewarding ineffectiveness. Take for instance, sir, we were here in this country when the army chiefs were told to people clamored, take these people away. They spent their years of service. Mr. President extended their years of service. And issues of corruption were told, some of them were owning houses in Dubai. Nothing was done. And we knew how they failed. But surprisingly, and rightly so, as if he took the president and immediately he relieved them, he rewarded them to be ambassadors. So why wouldn't I or somebody, an onlooker, would say, oh, it is good not to perform, you'll be rewarded. Perhaps that is it. Because for me, until and unless we start punishing ineffectiveness, ineptitude, mediocrity, and malfeasance in government and administration, we will not have an end. Security is not extricated from other part of it. Then let me tell you, security, economy, they are similarly, they are like Siamese twins. You can't extricate, one totally with that, it just is, that's how it is. So why is government sitting? Let them tell us the truth. Why is that? Look at Kuje prison break. And when we heard, they said there was information, almost 40, reported, and nothing was done. And 72 hours of 48 hours to the attack, the security or the military that were there, they were withdrawn. Who gave the order? And now they came in seamlessly for 3 good hours, so we were told, and they operated, and they came with motorbike. No rescue, no backup. For God's sake, somebody is somewhere playing the drums to orchestrate this seemingly untoward, behavior or action, which is not good. It is bad. Nigeria is bleeding. Something must be done.
So, Doctor, are we trying to believe that some people may be benefiting from insecurity in the nation?
Why not? And if not, let me tell us the truth. Terrorism is a big business. Very big business that needs huge money for you to successfully operate as a terrorist or operate as terrorist group. They need the intelligence, they need the weapon, they need the resources, the source for the best of all brains. And somebody must be there to benefit from this because they pay so much. I was told, one of the military officers, that in the north, you see somebody for 6 months to assess 5,000 is a problem. But Boko Haram and the rest will come and give you like 10. They even give 1,000 naira. You are ready to sacrifice because you're not them. You're not employed. You are cut off from Nigeria, the interior, the countryside. All their militaries, they don't go to school. What do you expect them to do? Their loyalty now becomes to the non-state actors who are, caving in on rather the insensitivity of government and seeming negligence. To us, okay, you must leave. Look, let me tell us the truth. Even Maslow theory has told us you can only, first of all, fine-tune your stomach in terms of food before you think about the next state of how you, because if you eat, you are alive. Then you'll be looking for what? Accommodation, security otherwise. So if you don't, why would you say? Otherwise, those, they will call them skolum. Do they care about security? They sleep under the rain, under the sun. They don't know, okay, I'm going for another boat. They do not have one. Because first of all, what is their concern perpetually is what? Their stomach. So, nobody should deceive you. Until and unless you find a solution to this, you cannot find a solution to security. And finding a solution to this requires employment, welfare. That is the solution. What is government doing in this respect? Because I wouldn't understand the country Nigeria. It is only Nigeria. Okay, look at now, for sure, to aggravate the situation. Sorry, I am bringing you this. It's getting to 6 months now. I have never seen any country in the world that has, left her education the way it is. People may not understand. Perhaps they will say, as we selfish, as we not selfish. Rather, government is selfish and terribly insensitive to the plight of our generation to come. For some persons were talking when Mr. President came and visited the Kuje prison. You see, he is disappointed, and I saw genuinely that he was disappointed and frustrated. But one thing was just too funny. Immediately he said that he jetted out. It does not work that way. It does not. Stay here. And for instance, the country he's been visiting in the head of this Nigeria.
Yeah, I think it was this country that he went to present a speech on
that security. Is even when I'm coming to that. He went to Sierra Leone. Did they see their students at home? Their universities were working. Later he came. The bandit of Boko Haram threatened. Look at the audacity that they will kidnap the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for God's sake. That at least is by no means a great threat. Let us not play down on the capacity of these persons and what the governor of El-Rufai. But the most, I'm so happy, I was happily disappointed for the fact that El-Rufai had not to call to say he told the president that he was threatened. Are you in charge? Secondly, the Brigade of Guard is an elitist force in the whole military. The best shooters, the best brains in the military. In short, they guard the president, the first family, the vice president, the chief judge, and the senate president, what's it called, the speaker, respectively. The seat of power. And we get the best. They spend the best. And they gave you that threat, you took it for granted and attacked. Not only attacked, they killed and took some captains. To tell you that their threat were not just mere. They showed you, and they could as well attacked.
So are we to believe that people are just behind all of this?
People are benefiting. People are benefiting, and inside there are moles.
Yeah.
There are moles. Remember, Jonathan once said when he was leaving that Boko Haram,
They are in his cabinet.
they are in his cabinet. And I make that to say that yes, even in this Buhari's administration, they are benefited. You don't need to tell them. It's in the public domain. There was Assistant Commissioner of Police somewhere in Kano. I think they caught him, giving information. You see some military officers who are, going underneath, supplying information.
Yeah.
You see some carry, like, sorry, sir. There was one that, very creative, under the tank of, he will carry some stuff, and then he will pass by, you just take his Okada, what's it called, this motorbike tank.
Because I was about coming there, about looking at how do they have access? Because we are supposed to have a very strong custom guys at the borders. We have immigration. We have a joint task force team at every border. So how do they have this access to weapons? Or are we to say that our borders are very porous?
If you say porous or very porous, is an understatement. They are very, 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 very porous. Underline that. They are very porous to the extent that you get in, apart from being porous, Nigerians who are manning the border posts, it is terrible. Some of us lived in the north, for instance. You know how somebody is just leaving the Niger Republic, the people will be seeing you, perhaps informed by, the sameness in the language and cultural affinity and whatever concerns or their brothers and sisters. But it's very funny. That shouldn't in any way, negate our position or compromise our security. It does not matter. Yes, the balkanization of Africa by the colonial masters is done, but let's live with it. For where I'm from, you cross the border, you get to another country. But we still, you see, the security is so relaxed. Yes, you are crossing over. You are not a Nigerian. You are dead. And obviously we know your intent here. You can't tell me you don't know. Go to Belgium and France. It's just a line. Most times your building will be in Belgium. This other side may be in Holland, Belgium and Holland. But before you cross over, there are strict regulations. So what are we? Is the lady go to Cameroon? You hardly will ask where is your worker book. They take it so serious. In short, security. In as much as we blame, also so much blame the government, we Nigerians are responsible because you see something report. No, I go ahead and think. No. And there's a very big problem. These issues are multifaceted. You now report yourself to the policeman, they will tell you, look, now your neighbor report me. You announce, okay, let me respect myself and my family. That is just the situation. We need so much reorientation. We need to create Nigerians for Nigeria. Because hence we've not created Nigeria for Nigeria. That's why, because every person is not my business until when it happened to you. And when it happened to you, you might not be alive to tell the story. So the truth about it is, let's create Nigeria for Nigerians and vice versa. I think that's where the problem. We can as well exhume a lot of factors responsible to the heightened insecurity and how deplorable and how we can say it. But what is the solution? That is for me the problem. Because whether you like it, the government has admitted that it has failed. Mm-hmm. It has failed.
Before we get to the solution, Doctor, let's look at because the way these terrorists or bandits operate, they operate more like guerrilla warfare, where they just surface and go back to their camp. Is it that our Nigerian military are being overwhelmed or something? Because in terms of fighting power, they should be on the superior. Is it that these guys are overwhelmed?
Yeah, no, they are not overwhelmed. I have to tell you, in this respect, and you're overwhelmed, there are two sides of story to this. You said guerrilla warfare. Crime is local. But a crime to thrive, the locals must support it. There is no way Boko Haram will succeed in Calabar, because the locals do not appreciate or share sympathy with them. One, predominantly, why those people who are cultural affinity, same language, to a large extent, same religion, there is that sympathy. If they come here, if at all they try, they will not succeed. Because one, the locality in all these variables I've highlighted do not have a semblance to them. So people, by virtue of religion, say no. Because let's tell ourselves the truth. When you see them, those pictures come in, say no, this is for the fact that hence you see a Fulani man is a suspect, and you are pretty as it were, not so comfortable, because every step he takes you monitor. So to that extent, look, Boko Haram will not work. For instance, now kidnapping, it does work here because people say people make businesses. Is that not true? So when the crime becomes local, it becomes difficult for you to treat. But there are avenues you can treat. You highlight some basic welfare, security, dispose, correlate. Definitely you're going to deal with them. We know. But by the time you empower some persons, my brother, crime would not sustain itself. Yes, they operate as guerrilla. They don't live in Bluetooth. They live here. We know them. Our family knows them. But who is to report them? Because in the U.S., a mother will just call the phone and call the police. My son, this is what my son is doing. Can you do that? My son, what you do, you go to church to pray. God will not do for you what you refuse to do for yourself. In short, God does not work for you. He works with you. He has given you what it takes. And you see us, those days that Christians don't pray, they don't go to politics. But you don't go to politics. People will go to politics and control you. And I thank God with the resurgence and the effort by different denominations. Go and register and participate. So the truth about it is, if we want this insecurity quagmire to be obliterated in the Nigerian polity, we can do it through this will. Look, there's always a will. There's always a will. If we report, what can you tell me about a notorious terrorist was Toban in Zamfara, and he has a bounty on his head by the Katsina state government. And look at the BBC, one of them will just say he does not kidnap, he just take pleasure in killing. How many have you killed? He said, cannot, he just kill. Look at the impunity, look at the audaciousness of those speech. Man, it's nauseating. Not in a country like Nigeria. We are so much, our military are not overwhelmed. Given this factor, where there's sabotage, intelligence are not being shared. With that we know. Every person is claiming, ownership or superiority in terms of security. The military will be so superior. The police are looked as inferior. Civil defense, according to them, they are still neophyte and rookies in system of. That is the problem. Until we synchronize, harmonize, let be a central pool when intelligence are shared and dispatched immediately. Look, that is what is weighing Nigerian military down. Monies are, sorry to say it, but it's very true. I've got a student who called from me, he said, Maga, pray for me. He said they'll fight for 2 days, no food. They don't pay them their allowance. How can you motivate that kind of a person? What would you do? And at this instance, you starve him off. He can compromise information. And the troops will be killed. That is why they are way down. Nigeria's military is the finest. Even United Nations, when you have ground operation, they refer you to Nigeria. They will refer you to Nigerian military.
Yeah, very recently, we had a senator from Niger State there coming out to call out on the government that they failed in terms of security, and he went very strong by asking the National Security Advisor to resign. Is it really time to resign, or is it time for the president to reposition it, just do some changes here and there? Is it time to really resign, or to reject the system?
Well, it is a tradition now, or customary to this administration. I don't know what Mr. President stand to benefit when in obvious failures, he still keeps some persons. There are some persons who have been in this government for 7 years, have do anything to offer, and they are seated. The only thing we know that they do, just to call Mr. President, is perhaps I have, in recent times, I said Mr. President meant well for Nigeria. But people are cashing in because of his frail nature, for whatever his age, and perpetrating these heinous, crimes. Because I call it so. To reject, to remove him. Even he removed Mungunu now. Because these terrorists, these beneficiaries, have seeped in. Their roots are so deep. But there is no action that is laid in this situation. Let's do whatever it takes for us to rescue Nigeria. Don't say it is happening in the north. Gradually, it's coming. And you know it. Don't say, Mr. President, yes, let him reject. Let him throw those people away. Because so long as I'm concerned, they have added and fueled insecurity. They are the problem to Mr. President. My only worry is that Mr. President has refused to see the obvious. Because they don't tell him the truth. They come and what would you want him to do? Because he employed them. But what he ought to have done since is to have removed these persons. Okay, you're telling me what nobody will say Mongudu administration, will say Buhari administration. Whether you like it or not. And look at how the lies they come to perpetrate in obvious is insult to the sensibility of Nigeria. How can you come and say Buhari government security was as far away what we had before 2015? And this comparison makes me laugh. They said when the previous Boko Haram were hosting flags somewhere. No. They feel those are soft. What is happening now? We know their cells were in Medjugorje. They come to Abuja, detonate, soft target and go. Now they carry the battle to the military. They were saying soft target. Now they are attacking brigades of that. That is a problem. When to NDA, just like you're going to Fort Knox, on Pentagon, for God's sake, you attack that place, kidnap some military officers, some red corners, and today we've not had body. Nobody has been punished for that. So if they can attack, you need to know where NDA is. We have one mechanized division. It's almost surrounded by security, and these people can go. Man, there is a serious problem. So whether we like it or not, Mr. President must stand up, fire everybody who has not performed his duties. He must do that. Otherwise, we'll say he is responsible because this is his government. What would history look at? The reign of President Muhammad. Remember, he's a retired general.
Yeah, Doctor, some Nigerians are saying, there's been this sayings, in the public space that these guys are not Nigerians. They came in from Niger during the 2015 election. So they've not been settled. So they're looking at causing all this mayhem. I don't know if you've had that in this phase of speculation. Is it? I don't know.
Whether I've heard it or not. It's a serious indictment to the government itself. For them to have even, and I think we don't even talk. Just look for solutions silently. When you achieve, when the result is out. Look, you cannot hide results. You cannot hide results. We wouldn't be sitting here talking, berating the government if the results were anything to go by. Because the results are pretty bad. That's why we have been monitoring this situation. Ordinarily. Why would you tell me you are to secure Nigerians? However, both its territory have boundaries. And you sit down and tell us they are immigrants. How did they come? Remember, is that this government that gave a visa on arrival? And we don't know. We know the Nigerians. You know. We know Nigerians. How can you do a thing like that? You don't do a thing like that. You are, yes. I can't see a country that is going through this and you entertain this free movement. For what? Cultural affiliation. If you thought we have a boundary designated. If you feel you cannot live here, go there. If you are there, go. That is it. You cannot just come there and be terrorizing me. For what? Nature has created it to be so. And, enforced by human. That this creation, we are not there. And that we cannot bring this alignment back. Ordinarily, we should be United Africa, no countries again. Because you must guard your boundary. The insurgency that is, raving Nigeria is not that like what is happening in Cameroon.
So with all of this, let's try to anchor this now. In all of this, we see the attacks getting very close, not just getting very close in the FCT now. Let's look at our sovereignty. Could we say that has been threatened by this?
Seriously threatened. Seriously. Now, you are advanced some point that already have answered this question. You said, they say, what's it called? They are immigrants or they are foreigners. How can foreigners come and threaten, have this leverage to operate the way they like? How? And that in first instance, needless saying, because they have attacked Abuja, for a foreigner, not certificated, do not have a passport, just come in and take hold of your territory. What else can you say again? What is sovereignty threatened? You cannot. But let me tell us briefly. Nigerians orchestrated this to themselves, especially our political class. We are here. When Governor Tom, if I'm not mistaken, was shouting this before, what was the response? The same government told him, the former Inspector General said, what's it called? He said, a drowning man. He was telling them, now where are we? Some person say we should pay them. We should live. Let's learn and live with our brothers in spite of the killings. We should live with them. And it was allegedly so said. I don't know, it's in the public domain and in the social media. While we're trying to address the activities of this and that of the IPOB, they said the number 2 man said, pray for the bandit. Then the IPOB, they are terrorists. Give us information to deal with them. And now they will tell you they are technically, we shouldn't play politics. Because this insecurity does not know AB. Hunger does not know AB. If it comes on everybody. So let's stop playing politics until and unless we stop. Let's recognize the fact that there is nothing wrong with you admitting that there's a problem. Let's solve this problem. You can't be playing politics. Like recently, I was watching Senator Ogoloye, I think one of the APC stalwart. I think Buhari, what's it called? Bola Tinubu, spokesperson or so. It said something which I felt, are we really a country? They asked him, I think in Rise News, on what platform, what would APC campaign on? He said, no, APC is not campaigning on Buhari. I'm coming to tell you what we would do. What would you do? What Tinubu? So it is always, you imagine, because your party, your APC gave you a ticket. You have to tell us what APC have done, and we consolidate. And you are now distancing yourself. And most surprisingly, and ridiculous, you are a service senator, an APC senator, and you're telling me you cannot show me your report card to give me reason why I should vote you again. Please, they should give us a break. If they are tired, they are tired. If they are loss of idea, let them honorably resign and say, leave us. We are leaving you. We are sorry. Officially, apologize to Nigerians that yes, but indirectly they have admitted. But they should do it more formal, because they told us they have accepted government has failed. I think they are being truthful now, but they should do it formally so that we know who to vote. Get your PVC.
So, Dr. Ayuk, in the bit of closing this, let's get to know, if you were in the mind of Mr. President, what would you be doing to find lasting solution to the state of security in the nation?
See, find incompetent ministers or officials masquerading themselves that they are serving Nigeria. Secondly, as it is, there is what is called specialty. If you are artillery, ground troop, Nigeria is number one of the best in the world. Now we are not used to this guerrilla warfare. Bring mercenaries. Jonathan did it. He shifted election for 2 weeks. An election hell in those areas. Forget what somebody is just telling you. That he did it and we had some peace. And remember, when they killed almost 90-something persons, I can't picture the figure, in Chad, the late Sergeant President led the troop and came. And what has been said, we cannot accept the Chad President, they came, dislodged and killed Boko Haram. And remember, the videos are there. When they came, Nigerian military were even heralding these people. Can you imagine? Nigerian military were heralding the Chadian military. At the end of the day, Mr. President did not continue that. They left. And the people have returned back. For God's sake, let us not die in shame. We don't have that specialty. These are people who have been fighting this insurgency. They are trained for it. They eat, they work, they don't sleep, they work, they have what it takes. Our military, this is a new phenomenon in the military. We still lack the training, and given this, the intensity of insecurity and how they are attacking us, when would you have to train them? Because while you're waiting for 6 months to train, they are encroaching. Let's get help. Nigeria need help. We cannot do it. Let us not deceive ourselves.
Dr. Theophilus Ayuk, criminologist and senior lecturer at the Department of Criminology, University of Calabar. Many thanks for your time on the show, Doctor. It's been a while we had you around. From now, we hope to be having you intermittently. Let's talk about security in our state and also in our nation.
Let's hope so. Thank you.
Okay, don't go away. Good morning, Cross. We return shortly. Stay with us.